Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, good morning all. It's great to be here. Let's see how this works. Okay, great. My idea here is to point out some aspects of Brazil and what's going on in terms of free zones. First, I'd like to point out on a slide that tells us that Brazil, although it's a global actor because it trades with many countries, is still has a very little trade because it represents less than 3% of global trade in terms of exports and imports. So for the Brazilian economy size, it could perform much better. Then there are two types of zones in Brazil. One is a very traditional one, most of you might have heard, is the Manaus Free Zone. I apologize because the total investments are underestimated. It's not 10 billion, it's much more. And now I am the person responsible to implement our free zones model that we call export processing zones. Those are the three most advanced ones in the country. Free zones for us in Brazil, as an export processing zone, it is a new experience to us because there is the first industrial project. It is a huge one. It is a steel mill owned by POSCO, Vale, and Don Cook Steel. Here you have some pictures. And it started being built 4 years ago, and the EPZ started granting benefits only from August 2013. So it's a very, very new experience to us, and we do have a lot to learn. Well, what is the future of free zones in Brazil, and what's important to us in terms of the regional or the global discussion? First, Brazil needs, in fact, to establish and to strengthen its free zones. This is a milestone for the country because the country needs, as I mentioned, to increase its exports, to add value to raw materials prior to exporting, and most of all, to establish industrial clusters of industry, services, among others. And what might be the tools for this future that we do foresee? First, the guidance of the World Free Zone Organization, and not only the WFZO, but as well as WTO, OECD, and many other institutions that are critical to us. Secondly, the improvement of law and legislation in Brazil, because our model, it is an old-fashioned one. Third, partnership with free zones around the world, because we do see and we understand that to discuss a free zone, it is not to work by itself, but to make business partners all over and to discuss global chains. Then, to talk about investment attraction, both domestically or foreign FDI. Then, to increase and diverse markets, products, and services. And later, to insert Brazil in the global supply chain as an integrated economy. As we saw in the previous slides, Brazil, it's out of this global supply chain, it's still out of it. And then adding value to raw materials prior to export. So if I could tell you to remember only one slide of my presentation, it would be this one. I'm not sure if it is big enough, but what this slide shows, we're discussing the future of free zones, but it is also important to discuss what is the present for the free zones and how does it affect many free zones that are present here today. In my opinion, there are so many things that free zones already can do with what they have, because, as I told you, we have this steel mill project that will be built, will be completed in November this year, and will be exporting in March next year. And what this table shows us is that if the country or if the company sells iron ore, which is a very important product to Brazil, it will receive about $75 per ton. But if the same company could somehow export a product with a little more value added to it, as the steel mill will do, it will sell steel slabs, then the same company with the knowledge, with the raw material and the technology that the company already has, you will earn about $500 for the same product. We're talking about a variation of about, it's quite small, 576% in price variation. So this is quite impressive. And we're not talking only about minerals. We're talking about wood, food processing, among many other things and many other products. For instance, if we take a look at food, Brazil is the major soya producer in the world. If the same company sells soy, it will receive for the product about $500 per ton. If this company could process, and we're not talking about Brazil or Colombia or Argentina processing everything, but if Brazil could be more integrated in global supply chains, it could earn much more in terms of investment, wealth, and job generation. So this is the main idea of it. Thank you a lot. Enjoy it.